Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 24 career mode. This is the start of Season 2. The 2025 F1 season is upon us. If you didn't check out the pre-season video, then definitely go check that one out to see all the different plot lines going into this season, including a high inflation for the F1 market, a few driver transfers, and quite a few livery and car changes going into a brand new season on this game. The dust has settled from the following season. Our rookie season is over, and we are preparing ourselves for, I'm hoping, a season where we could try and challenge for our first ever Drivers' World Championship. But it's going to be tough. Our teammate is the reigning world champion now, and, well, yeah, with that high inflation, it is going to be a very different and difficult season, with the upgrades all costing quite a lot for not just me, but everyone. It is a very different financial climate here in Formula 1 for Season 2 in a way that we've not seen before in the F1 games. But one thing that is the same going to a brand new F1 season, like every season, everything gets reset to zero and you have to psych yourself up to go again. Andrea Stella with an email about the hopeful about this season. And, well, it's welcome back to our specialists. Haven't seen you guys in a hot minute. You guys were just absent for the finale, but nice to see you. Colin, my man, how's your winter break been? Oh yeah, okay, stop yapping, mate. Yeah, I didn't ask for your life story, okay? Jesus. We're still working our way up in terms of the levels on some of our specialists, you know, especially with Marcel and Miguel, Chloe as well on just level 1. We're quite close to level 2 with Chloe in the material fabrication planner. Yeah, like I said before, previously in Season 1, to my surprise, out of everyone, Colin is the highest rated along with Zoe in the aerodynamics department for specialist levels, and Denise level 2 as well. So, you know, the characters, or the specialists that I actually felt like we were going to have a problem with are actually the ones that we're most successful with, ironically. And we're going to maybe need their perks, you know, when it comes to purchasing things, because now that things cost so much more, we really can't afford a failure. Like, can you imagine getting a failure when the R&D now costs about 3 times as much? Just the rebuying is going to cost probably the same amount it originally cost us in Season 1, so absolutely we need those perks working for us over time. And a new contract goal to aim for this season, 88 as we set it, and well, we're starting 83, so I'm pretty confident that we can get there over the course of a season, although the shortened season may make that a bit of a challenge. But going into this Season 2, didn't actually show this off in the pre-season video, but we're changing around the helmet design a little bit by swapping the fluoro yellow with where the white used to be. So now the base of the helmet is all in fluoro, and we've got the accents of my logo in white. We retain the same rivals we actually ended Season 1 with, so Leclerc and Ocon in our championship and rating rivalry, and we could be getting an accolade off the bat in this episode for race starts, which would be quite good for our experience boosting. But without further ado, we've gone through everything we need to go through in terms of the lore of this series so far in the pre-season mainly, so let's get on with the action. Let's get into qualifying for the first race. It's the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
Welcome to the Jeddah Corniche, one of the fastest circuits on the calendar. But let's see who will be fastest of them all. We're about to set the grid for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Yes, it's qualifying.
Very much looking forward to kicking off the brand new season here at Jeddah. It's such an intense race on the F1 game, so it's a really cracking one to open up a whole new campaign, and obviously a first chance to just take a closer look at our brand new McLaren car on track. All new chassis and aero and livery to match. New helmets, everything is fresh. But the challenge is, well, actually no, it is a different challenge. I was about to say the challenge is the same, trying to maximize our result, but it is a different challenge. We're not a rookie. There are no more excuses in a way. It's time to start delivering. We've got the best car on the grid to start off the season. I said with the high inflation and others may be able to catch us as we can't upgrade as much with the reduced R&D and the AI having increased R&D, it's very much like a Brawn GP season maybe set up for us. And, you know, one of you pointed out quite nicely, in that year, it was also a financial crash in real life. So quite nicely mimicking all the hallmarks of the season of my favourite ever Formula 1 driver. But whether we can do the business is another question, basically. We've got to try and deliver the first time of asking, the first time for qualifying here in anger around Jeddah for the first round. And Q1 starting off well. Second place, Lando up there in first. There's quite a sizable gap to third place, but I'm not too sure if that is really going to be an indication of the pace of this McLaren, because actually this race is the first race after the new 1.5 patch for F1 24. Now, that was meant to, one, alter the AI's use of ERS, so hopefully there'll be less training and less packing up in the race, but also potentially fixing a bit of discrepancy with the simulated times in qualifying. Now, unfortunately, from what I've found, at least in this one experience, I felt like they got even glitchier. Like, the times here are ridiculous. 7/10 from my own teammates, P1 and 2 for Q2. I would love to say that's the pace we've got. We're absolutely going to thrash the opposition. But you can see by the rest of the times as well that it just seems a bit fishy. So I think in a weird way, annoyingly, a lot of the times with the F1 games, a patch is maybe further broken what they were trying to fix with the simulation times. So because of that, this Q3 session may actually be the most representative time in the litmus test for if the simulations are actually buggy, because I'm driving at the same time as the AI for both the laps we're setting. The first flying lap, Sainz has actually managed to go 2/10 quicker. We have gone a bit slower than we did in Q2, but that's also with the ebb and flow of this circuit. Also, the car did feel a bit stiffer to me going into the last session, whether that's the track temperatures just lowering a little bit as the time of day passes on, I'm not too sure, but we've gone purple in the first sector here, green in the second on our second flying lap, but now we've made an error of I've overused battery to get that purple first sector clearly and the green second sector, because I go so low battery that the engine is really struggling for top line speed in the final straight into the final corner, and we don't go quicker. Our last sector is red and we finish this session in second place. To probably everyone's surprise, it's not a McLaren on pole position, it is Carlos Sainz up there in first place. He's pulled out the bag ahead of us in second place, Lando in P4, so you know, for the expectation, maybe a little bit of a disappointing qualifying for myself and the new reigning world champion, but look how incredibly close things are. Like, I can't even fathom how close that is from myself down to Leclerc. That is pretty much just one bad apex, and that's the difference for Leclerc being down there and not joining his teammate on the front row. This well could have been a Ferrari upset as they return to a retro livery sporting Marlboro again in Formula 1. It could have been a real retro throwback of domination to kick off a season for the Scuderia. But yeah, very tough qualifying to call in terms of where the pace truly is, because I did feel like the simulation times for the AI when we were fast forwarding through some of the sessions, it was adjusting it, and then also we didn't go as quick simply in Q3 as we did in Q2, neither did Lando as well, so it is a tough one to call, but we're on the front row at least, which is something, so we do have an open opportunity to try and go for the race lead early on. We're beating Lando the first time of asking, for the first time ever I'm seeing the beating our teammate rivalry screen in this career mode, so we gotta be happy about that, but all the business gets done tomorrow for Sunday. Let's go to the grid for the first race of the season.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round one of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah street circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and a McLaren alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Norris, Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Stroll, Gasly, Ocon, Bottas, Tsunoda, Albon, Joe, Ricciardo, Sargent, Hulkenberg and Oscar Piastri. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And striding into our commentary box to join us today, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Davidson. Now, Ant, as much as I like testing, and I do love testing, and I've really enjoyed the build-up here and all the speculation, I really want to see some action. And finally today, we get some proper action on the track.
You're going to definitely see action, Crofty. Everyone's G'd up for this one. They've done the testing, like you say. The drivers will be revving inside, heart rates going, trying to burst out their chest at this moment. With that anticipation, who's got the speed? We're going to learn now, once and for all.
So there's the feeling that maybe as a team here at McLaren, we didn't pull out the performance that the entire paddock was expecting, that maybe you guys were expecting. Second and fourth place, a Ferrari on pole position, despite us being the best on paper. We have got to try and turn the tides and overturn this loss in qualifying and try and go for that win. Double podium surely as well has got to be the goal in terms of the Zach Brown and the team behind me. Of course, for us, in this early stage, it's too early to think about a championship, but also at the same time, we are thinking individually at the moment because we have beaten our teammate, the reigning champion, first time of asking. That gives us a bit of confidence. But, as I've said, with the reduced R&D, increased R&D for the AI, the high inflation now, genuinely, I'm scared about not making the most of these opening races because later on it might get very tough. It might get very painful and annoying when we can't perform potentially if others upgrade us. So we have to make the most of these early races. I feel like if we don't, we will be kicking ourselves at the end of the season. But at the same time, it's still a long old season, 16 races, even with the cutting costs in this sport for season 2, and there's a long way to go. So right now, let's just focus on this race individually. We're in an all-new look McLaren car for this season, and I'm hoping that this will be the chariot that can take us to victory to kick off the season in the best way. It is 2025 here in-game. Season 2 is upon us as we go to 5 red lights. The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is underway. It's not the best start for us though. A lot of wheel spin and George Russell going round the outside, pinching us into turn 1. It's a clean run for the Spaniard Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, leading the pack from pole position. We've managed to just fend off Russell, our fellow compatriot, but that was not an ideal start. But we can't get caught up in it. It's time to get our head down and try and close up on the Ferrari. We have the best car on paper, in theory. Let's hope that we can turn that into a reality. Meanwhile, for Lando Norris in P5, he's actually also had a bit of a slow start because Leclerc has vaulted from P6. Remember, he was on the grid. He's now up to P4, so it's a very quick start for both Ferraris then, and a bit of a slower one for both us McLarens, even the Red Bulls as well. Verstappen down in P8, Perez P6. Sorry, I didn't even mention that in qualifying, by the way. It wasn't a great showing for Red Bull, you know. They were obviously the strongest team overall in Season 1, but to kick off this new season, it really does seem like Ferrari are immediately going to be the main threat to us. Maybe Mercedes in there because Russell is keeping up with us as Sainz goes across the line for lap 2 in first place. DRS now active though, but we're already immediately trying to attack him, but Sainz very firm on his defense, and we're just taking it a little easy. We're not going to be over aggressive at this early stage of the Grand Prix. We can afford to wait for maybe an easier pass here with DRS, although Sainz once again places his car beautifully, I must say, just to make it very awkward there. I don't want to stick my nose in and get some front wing damage, but now on the next straight, we've got a much better run, and we're now ahead by a whisker. Russell might be there as well. Sainz comes back at us to the inside for the final corner. We're still neck and neck. He is there still on the left-hand side, but we've got the acceleration. But now you can see I don't have too much battery to use. Sainz now has DRS. The same for Russell. The same for Leclerc even, as we get swarmed and we get absolutely done by 3 cars. Can we at least re-overtake Leclerc through the exit of turn 2 to get back up into third place as we watch a great little battle brewing then between Russell and Sainz. Ooh, that is close, and the two are still going to be neck and neck. Who's going to blink first? Oh my word, Russell, committed as ever. That was impressive. That was a very nice overtake from the Silver Arrow. So we have got competition then. Ferrari and Mercedes are here giving us a fight, but we dive down the inside of the Spaniard to get up into second place. And there's this sense, even though, yeah, we're not in first, we're not pulling away, I'm already getting a sense that there is a bit more pace in the car. But like in real life in Formula 1, because we're not in clean air, I'm unable to show that pace right now. And, you know, with Jeddah, it's why it's so intense. The slipstreaming is so powerful that if you can't break that DRS, you will just be in a battle lap after lap, and that's what's happening here as we now go for the move on Russell. This for the race lead for the first time. We go to the inside. Russell comes back as though he's on the inside for turn 2. Can we get on the power early? Oh no, we've got it all crossed up there, and we actually banged tyres. We actually used Russell to keep ourselves going in a straight line, so we actually got very lucky there, and we get a bit of a warning from our engineer about cutting it a bit fine on the contact. So that was a little error, and it's those kind of errors we need to iron out, really, if we want to be a consistent player in these races, a consistent player in the championship, as we do finally get up into first place. It's actually in the unorthodox place before that quick chicane, but it's kind of an annoying place to make an overtake because immediately Russell is able to have a free pass to re-overtake us, and I'm basically defenseless there because he's got the combo of DRS and ERS. We do manage to dive back down the inside, but he's actually switched back to me. Russell has completely done me there, but we're able to come back at him. We're now the ones with DRS, but look in the mirrors. The Ferrari is darting through on the right. It's 3 wide. Can we outbrake both of them? We've outbroken ourselves. We've gone straight on and locked up, and we've overdone it. Sainz and Russell with the cool, calm, collected heads. The experience in Formula 1 pays out for them, and they maintain first and second respectively. We're behind Leclerc now even. We're down to P4. Meanwhile, Lando in P5 is now as close as he ever has been to us. No thanks to ourselves, basically making that massive error. And to be fair now, my engineer's trying to get me the hurry up to overtake Leclerc. So at least that's a bit of a confidence booster. He thinks we can re-engage in the fight, giving us that mini target to overtake Leclerc. And we are not going to just do that. We're going to go for the second overtake, maybe even the third overtake, as we go for a triple pass maybe on the right-hand side. Russell is there guarding the apex, and I actually had to watch out because I didn't know where the Ferraris were on my inside. I had no idea. It was in my blind spot, and they were actually going side by side. Leclerc getting the better of Sainz, who now nearly gets overtaken by Lando, who instead loses a position. He went for the overtake and then lost the position to Sergio Perez. Is now just ahead of Fernando Alonso. Meanwhile, his rival of last season, Verstappen, down in P8, struggling for pace in the new all-white Red Bull Honda. And this man's teammate Hamilton behind him, 10 World Championships together, but only for P8 and 9 so far in this race as we close up to George once again onto lap 7. Could it be lucky number 7 for us to finally get this done and booked in? I think it just might, as we have the overspeed. We have also a bit of battery in hand to stay ahead. A little bit of a rear lock and drift into turn 1, but we do get first place fully booked in. We set a purple first sector. I really gunned for it. I really tried to pull away from these guys, and they still repassed me. Either side of me! Big lockup for Perez. Oh, he was doing so well for Red Bull. He was actually the lead Red Bull up until that point, but he locks up badly, and Lando is finally able to get a pass in this race as we watch Leclerc and Russell battle, and Leclerc has just set the fast lap of the Grand Prix as we lose the back end again, as maybe the tyre wear is starting to creep in. I didn't actually show you guys the strategy screen at the start of the race on the formation lap, but I actually indicated to my engineer that I might want to try a very audacious, aggressive two-stop, medium, softs, as the tyre wear is a little bit higher here in Jeddah in Season 2 as we go 3 wide with the Ferrari and Mercedes again. And I'm just a little bit scared to turn in fully there because I really wasn't sure if Russell was going to be a bit of a terrorist into turn 1 and maybe knock Leclerc, into my path. So we're playing it cautious because, well, Leclerc and Russell, both of them will really want this win, and they're going to be quite aggressive for it. Meanwhile, we've now got Lando, who's joined the party. Lando now has set the fast up for the Grand Prix. All of a sudden, people are starting to find a rhythm. Maybe they just have to dust the cobwebs off and find their feet with their new cars in this brand new season as we go for maybe the double pass. The opportunity is there. The room is there on the outside, but Russell's locked up and we've crashed into him. There was hardly any time to react and we've got front wing damage. This safety car is out though, I think, for that damage, and there was also a car somewhere else on circuit stricken, so I think both of those incidents have caused the FIA to pull the safety car out. So we can get a free pit stop here, but everyone's coming in. We're going to have to change our oh no, no. I knew as soon as I saw the Aston Martin ahead of Lando, I knew what was about to happen. Oh my God, no. We're down to 13. Is it any lower? Oh, we're just sat here. Oh, this feels like an age. Oh my God, 14th, might be, it's going to be 15, 16, and they didn't change the front wing. Wait, hang on. They didn't change the front wing. Guys, what are you doing? McLaren. Oh my goodness me. All right, let me get this straight. Oh my God, Tsunoda's leading. Yuki Tsunoda in the Visa Cash Up RB leads this race. Alonso second in the Aston. Hulkenberg and the Haas. Ocon in his new Williams P4. Lando still ended up in P5, so he's the biggest winner from the race leaders. Leclerc also only P7, so both of them have one out. But it's devastation for Sainz, Russell, myself, but way more me, because my team have made a huge error under the safety car. With a yellow front wing, they have decided on the automatic decision making on the heads-up display, yeah, we don't need to change this front wing. Are you kidding me? What is going on? These are the operational kind of mistakes that we cannot be making as a team. Russell, man. That lock-up completely did us. We're going for the move. We're turning in, expecting him to turn in as well. And he goes straight on. And I was so close to his rear. There was no time to react. But this is abysmal. We have to come in for a second time under the safety car to change the front wing, because there is no way we can drive with a yellow front wing. I tried to assess the damage and it was horrific. A yellow on your front wing is basically undrivable. Like, you can get away with a lime front wing, but yellow, I mean, you saw on the replay cameras coming out of the pits there how much damage there was to the front. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. In the first race of a brand new season, so much hope, so much expectation, and it didn't pan out in qualifying, but it was going well in the race. We're on the front row fighting for the win, and now all of a sudden we are at the back of the grid. We're in last place right now. We're in last place under the safety car. The only consolation is I've got very good company of the 7-time world champion and 3-time world champion of Hamilton and Verstappen ahead of me. So quite a few big names here have been caught out with the safety car, and everyone coming in and double stacking. So I'm not, alone in this boat. But this feels a lot worse for me, because operationally, McLaren, my team, have made a mistake there. On automatic, they should be changing a yellow front wing, and we should be nearer to where Lando is. Not in the top 5, but at least near the top 10, or where we came out anyway before the second pit stop. What was it? P13. So, wow. But we don't have time to dwell on it now. We've got a long way to go still in this race, and there still may be an opportunity to recover in this race. But I have a bad feeling maybe the race win might be out of the question now, as we look to maybe pass Hamilton. He's a bit slow off the restart. Verstappen's already overtaken him in the Red Bull, and we go through into 17th place. You may have also noticed, by the way, I didn't mention it yet, but we're on the mediums now. So ironically, I mentioned about me wanting to do a 2-stop. That front wing issue has meant I have technically I have done a 2-stop, and I've changed my compound again as we're back onto a set of medium tyres. So this will maybe give us a good chance to recover in this race, because we've done the tyre compound rule change. are onto mediums that will go to the end, maybe with a bit of tire at the end of the race in the last few laps, but generally they will go the distance here around Jeddah, so we need to make the most of it, as we've already overtaken Verstappen with ease on the outside, that was on the previous section, and now looking to get down the inside of Alexander Albon, that new Gulf Williams look. Logan Sargent ahead of us in his new team for Alpine. Meanwhile, at the front, Yuki Tsunoda is fighting Fernando Alonso. Incredible, with a Haas in third place of Hulkenberg. Alonso, though, into the lead of the race for Aston Martin. He's probably the strongest car, barring Lando, up there in the top 5. So Alonso, all of a sudden, might have a chance to get win number 33. Meanwhile, whilst we are overtaking Sargent in the Alpine to get up into P14 and effectively getting near to where we should have been with the first safety car pit stop here. Still wouldn't have been ideal, but at least a lot better than losing a lap or two getting up to this point. But you can really tell that my mediums are very, very good right now. We look very planted through these corners, and we're really closing up on Carlos Sainz there. We pretty much push him through that corner, and our engineer giving us some more motivation to go and get 10th place, which ironically is Russell, the man who broke our front wing in the first place here. So our engineer really knows how to motivate us, because I've got the bit between my teeth, a bit of red mist in the cockpit to try and catch up and book in that overtake and then go on to do more, because, well, I'm just very frustrated at what the race could have been, and now what it is Alonso sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix. We overtake Perez for P12 and now close up on Piastri for the first time on this game. We are racing the Australian, the man who we replaced at McLaren. No hard feelings. Good to see that he's on the F1 grid now once again, and hopefully will remain on the grid in this entire series as we continue to watch Tsunoda basically go backwards, and he's actually quite literally holding up Hulkenberg there. The Haas looks quicker. It's 3 abreast though. Lando squeezes through, might make the double pass here all the way around the outside. No, Hulkenberg slams the door shut for the new DHL Haas in all yellow, but Lando has too much pace in the McLaren, surely, for him to defend this too much, and he is up into second place then, Lando. Hulkenberg in third though. Could a podium be on the cards for Nico Hulkenberg? That could be very, very cool, as we now are down the inside of Russell. No funny business, no frustration being shown. Just going to get the job done, overtake him, and on to the next car, which is Ricciardo, as we go round the outside of the Aussie man, the second Aussie of tonight, as we watch his teammate go further down the order. But this might be juicy. Ocon versus Gasly in 2 different teams now. Alpine v Williams, and Gasly on the inside. Ocon goes through in the middle, and we have now bunched up to this pack because they've slowed each other up so much so that we have now making the pass on Lance Stroll. Gasly and Ocon still going at it. No shock horror there, but Pierre Gasly gets the better of his former teammate. The Alpine flying high in P4. Ocon will be happy for P5 in the Williams right now. Tsunoda will be distraught from P1 to P6, but just showing the pace difference here. And actually, to be fair, good to see, the patch clearly working somewhat, because I feel like, honestly, pre 1.5, maybe Tsunoda would have just held on to the win, like in a similar vein of how Albon did at Vegas last season, because it was so difficult to overtake with the ERS training. But now, there is less of a pack forming. There is still a bit of a train, but I'm going to say that's more about Jeddah than the actual patch itself, because Jeddah, this always happened on even previous F1 games, as we make quick work of Leclerc, and clearly choosing the medium tyre was very much the right choice. This medium is performing really well for us right now as we look to pass Tsunoda. Very close, very, very close to that being a disaster though, because that was about a pixel away from us just rear-ending his rear right tyre, as we now go for the overtake on Gasly, looking to get a toe off Ocon and slice through the middle. Sorry boys, get through either side of them, and all of a sudden things are looking a lot better now. It's looking good, Brev, as we're up to P4. And now we could actually, sorry Haas fans and Hulkenberg fans, I think we could ruin Hulkenberg's day and get back up into a podium spot. This would be a huge bit of miracle work. And you know what this would be? This would be a recovery drive fit to start off a World Championship, campaign, because this is the kind of drive you have to do to win a World Championship. When the chips are down, you get your head down. Never say never, as I always love to say in Formula 1. No matter the hurdles that the race throws at you, you just try and leap over as many as you can, and you make the best of it. As we now go through on the left-hand side, whilst overtaking Hulkenberg, we set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and we're up into third place, a podium spot once again. But now we've got 8 laps to go. At this point, the mediums will start to wear a little bit. And so by lap 21, a couple of laps later, only now have we got within 1 second of our teammate Lando Norris, because genuinely the pace did start to drop off. You can see a yellow first sector, purple the middle, just purely because we finally have DRS, but it has taken a long while, a lot longer than it maybe we would have hoped, to catch Lando as we go for the overtake. Alonso is only 1.6 seconds down the road, but Lando is stern in his defense, and I'm adamant about getting that second bite of DRS to get across the line, because I want to try and get into second into the new lap, so then we can try and push away as we fake to the left, go to the outside. Oh, bit of a rear lock, but we do get ahead into second place. Alonso 1.5 seconds down the road. Is there still enough time to catch the Spaniard? Now, oh no, we've made an error though. The rear end goes away from us twice, 3 times. Lando's there now, committed, and he goes for the repass. We're neck and neck through sector 1. Not really a place you want to be going side by side, let alone with your teammate. Having to give a bit extra room when the room's not even there, really. It's such a narrow part of the circuit, but that was on us. We made that error. The rear end stepped down, not once, not twice, but 3 different times. You had to, feather and blip the throttle to try and catch it as we go to sector 1. And again, you saw the rear end wobbling a bit as the tyre wear genuinely is hitting us. And this is the problem with choosing the mediums. Yes, it really helped us catch up to this point, but now we are struggling to carry it over to the race end, and the hard compound is the better race tyre at this stage of the race, as we had another snap of oversteer into that high speed left and right. Lando with the DRS alter that time. He's re-overtaken us, and Alonso now all of a sudden is 3.4 seconds ahead of us. I would have loved to have caught him, but that initial mistake we made after we overtook Lando the first time, that kind of did it for us, because now we're locked into a battle just to actually book in second place, and Alonso has got acres of clean air to drive into, whereas we're still squabbling with our teammates side by side. Again, is it going to be another sector 1 ballet dance tiptoeing around this section? Lando on the inside this time, and I had to back out of that because there was no chance with these mediums was I keeping that round the outside there. And instead here we're wrestling the car onto the last lap of the Grand Prix. Lando is still in P2. We were oh so close, but we just don't have that rear traction, and we're just desperate and hoping that by the end of the lap I will have enough pace with DRS and ERS. But we need to first of all stay close enough to our teammate, and we won't do that if we keep losing the rear end. And did you see the irony there of the main objective from my engineer being don't damage the front wing? Thank you for that, adding insult to injury of this entire race. But Alonso 5.4 seconds ahead, looking good for the win. Meanwhile, behind Leclerc, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Russell, Stroll, Tsunoda, Perez is the top 10. Massive race for Hulkenberg, for Gasly in the Alpine, and commiserations for Tsunoda going from the lead to P9. And Perez, the only Red Bull scoring. Verstappen down in P14, Hamilton P16. It's a big shocker of a start for Sainz, Verstappen, Hamilton today. But can we make up for what could have been a shocker for us and still get second place where we started this entire race 25 laps ago? We've not got the tyre wear, but we do have maybe just enough battery, DRS aided, into the final sector of the final lap here. Can we do our teammate into the final corner and overtake him? The reigning champ, he's unawares and he leaves the door open. And that is a very important overtake, not only for the race, but maybe our confidence going into the rest of the season. But it's Fernando Alonso that gets win number 33.
Yes, What you have done, guys. What you have done. I'm so proud of you.
Huge shock result to kick off season 2. Wow, what a crazy race.
Here comes the checkered flag. All eyes on the car approaching. Your winner today, Fernando Alonso.
Well, all that off-season work clearly paying off here today, Crofty. A brilliant way to start the season with a solid victory. It's a real good confidence boost as well, and you feel like that's going to really propel them forward through to the next race coming up.
The Aston Martin team will be very happy with today's performance. And of course, the final result. Another display of excellent driving and excellent teamwork. And a well-deserved first place finish.
I really would not have bet on Fernando Alonso being on the top step at the start of this race, but yeah, crazy things can happen around Jeddah, and especially with a safety car as well, can always affect the race. And it's a big topsy-turvy race for a lot of people and for a lot of teams. You know, Haas scoring well, 10 points on the board. Red Bull outscored by their sister junior team, Aston Martin, up there in second place in the constructors in this early phase of the season. But we get some extra experience for the accolade for a race start. It wasn't the win we wanted, but you know what? I'm happy we got Lando right at the end there. That was very important for us, just as an individual, to get that overtake on him, to be beating him 5-6 in the rivalry. He is the reigning champ, but we are marking our territory that we are also a big part of this team, and that we are going to be a threat to him defending that title. But Ferrari are there, Merc are there. Obviously, the safety car kind of nerfed that out of the equation, but at the start of the race, they were right up there. So it's going to be a ferocious fight, potentially, basing off this race here in Jeddah. Guys, if you have enjoyed the start of that Season 2, then be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.